Allow me to reintroduce myself.
It's your favorite Dr. Harry.
Don't let me overdose, don't let me overdose, overdose.
Let's say I asked you to list for me some of the most expensive things in this world. What will make it to your list? Is it expensive vehicles like a Rolls Royce, Lamborghini, Ferrari, Bugatti, is it Elson Estate in California? Is it 7th The Pinnacle in Montana? Is it Buckingham Palace in London? Or is it Villa Leopolda Côte d'Azur in France? Of course, jets, choppers won't miss on the list. Yachts, expensive ships, cruises. The list is too long. We cannot mention everything. But upon the things you listed, life did not cross your mind. Yeah, life is expensive. You heard me right. When I say life is expensive, I don't mean in terms of our cost of living, inflation, economy, or your daily struggles to meet your basic needs. No. There are people in this world who are willing to spend up to their last penny in their bank account just to save lives. Take, for example, a couple who live or dwell in Dubai. They lost their son or their firstborn son due to a certain rare condition. And now their second-born daughter, who is 4 months old, is also suffering from the same condition. So sad. This is understandably devastating, right? The condition needs only one treatment and that is it. Well, someone may say, people get sick. I've seen many people getting sick. They go to hospitals, they get treated, and they regain their normalcy. But not in this case, because they are working to be two things. One, treatment of this condition cannot be administered to children over the age of 2 years. And also to receive this wonder drug, I call it a wonder drug because it only needs one treatment and it solves the problem. So to receive this wonder drug, they need an eye-opening amount of $2.77 million.
What? Wait a minute. Wait a minute. How?
This is almost the price of buying a Bugatti Chiron, 2 times the price of buying a Bugatti Veyron, and 10 times the price of a Lamborghini Urus, which goes at 200K. That's why I say that life is expensive. So I will be bringing you a list of drugs that you wouldn't imagine they cost more than a Bugatti or a Lamborghini. Many drugs are expensive, but these ones are crazily expensive. Welcome to this episode of If You Don't Know, Now You Know. Ranging from $2.1 million to $2.77 million. Different sites differ on the price of this drug. I guess some are inclusive of the cost of services. Zolgensma, developed by Novartis International Agency in Switzerland, has remained to be the most expensive drug in the world. This drug was approved by the FDA on 24th of May, the year 2019, and approved by the United Kingdom National Health Service on 19th of March, the year 2020. So Zolgensma is a one-time treatment and is the only available gene therapy for treatment of spinal muscular atrophy. This disease is very rare and affects about 1 in 10,000 babies born and is the leading genetic cause of infant death. Most babies with spinal muscular atrophy are born with a missing or non-working survival motor neuron 1 gene, abbreviated as SMN1, which is responsible for development of motor neurons in the body that control virtually all physical movement. There is also survival motor neuron 2 gene, abbreviated as SMN2, All individuals with spinal muscular atrophy have at least one backup gene known as a survival motor neuron 2 gene, abbreviated as a SMN2. The SMN2 gene has a similar structure as a SMN1, but only a small amount, 10% of the SMN protein it produces, is fully functional. These low levels of our SMN protein is not effective enough to sustain the survival of our motor neurons in the CNS. The number of our SMN2 genes may vary, and the higher SMN2 copy number is associated with less severe symptoms of our spinal muscular atrophy. Nevertheless, the disease has a wide range of symptoms, and it is difficult to predict the severity based on the number of our SMN2 copies alone. Thus, experts recommend that a care decision be made based on the individual's functional ability and not SMN2 copy number alone. The discovery of this backup gene provides a unique opportunity for the development of potential therapies that may help the SMN2 gene produce more SMN protein. Babies with spinal muscular atrophy experience the rapid and irreversible loss of motor neurons, affecting muscle functions like breathing, swallowing, and basic movement. Spinal muscular atrophy progresses quickly, and once a patient loses motor neurons, the cells that make our body move, they cannot get them back or regenerate. As you know, nerve cells, it's hard for them to regenerate. There are 4 main types of spinal muscular atrophy, each of which is based on the age that symptoms begin and the highest physical milestone achieved. Type 1, which is the most severe, about 60% of people with spinal muscular atrophy have type 1, also called Wadling-Hoffman's disease. Symptoms appear at birth or within an infant's first 6 months of life. These infants have difficulty in swallowing and sucking. They fail to meet typical milestones like holding up their heads or sitting. As muscles continue to weaken, children become more prone to respiratory infection and collapsed lung. Most children with type 1 die before 2 years. Then we have type 2, also called double waist disease. Signs and symptoms tend to appear when a child is between 6 months and 18 months old. It tends to affect the lower limbs. Children may be able to sit up but can't walk. Most children with this type live into adulthood. We have type 3, also called Kugel-Bartol-Landa or juvenile onset spinal muscular atrophy. Symptoms appear after a child's first 18 months of life. Some people don't show signs of this disease until adulthood. Symptoms include mild muscle weakness, difficulties in walking, and frequent respiratory infection. Over time, symptoms can affect the ability to walk or stand. This type doesn't significantly shorten life expectancy. Type 4, which is the adult onset. The rare adult form spinal muscular atrophy doesn't typically appear until the mid-30s. Muscle weakness symptoms progress slowly, so most people with type 4 remain mobile and live full lives. Babies with spinal muscular atrophy type 1 typically have just 1 or 2 copies of survival motor neuron 2 gene. Although survival motor neuron 1 copy numbers are correlated with spinal muscular atrophy type, the classification of spinal muscular atrophy types are not based on survival motor neuron 2 copy numbers. For instance, some patients with 2 copies can have type 2 if they achieve sitting. If left untreated, they will experience rapid and irreversible loss of motor neurons, and 90% will die or require permanent ventilation by age 2. Babies with type 2 typically have 3 or 4 backup copies of this gene. Type 2 is usually harder to diagnose in babies because they are developing. They are reaching all motor milestones at first, and then at around 6 or so months, they plateau or start to regress. They may show no interest in putting weight on their legs or may stop trying to pull themselves. So Zolgensma worked by replacing the missing or non-functioning survival motor neuron 1 gene with a functional copy that allows the body to produce the necessary protein these motor neuron cells need. The risk given is a one-time infusion into a vein. Zolgensma is an orphan drug, which means that the condition that it treats is so rare or is so uncommon that pharmaceutical companies won't just typically manufacture or develop the drug without any sort of government assistance. Zolgensma can cause acute serious liver injury in patients who receive this drug, and also patients will need to be administered with corticosteroids before and after infusion, and they will need to undergo regular blood tests to monitor liver function. Viral infection before and after infusion by Zolgensma can lead to serious complications. So if you notice symptoms such as coughing, wheezing, sneezing, sore throat, running nose, and fever, please contact your doctor immediately. Decrease in platelet count can occur following infusion with Zolgensma, so seek immediate medical attention. If the patient experiences unexpected easy bruising or bleeding. Thrombotic microangiopathy has also been reported to occur 1 week after infusion with Zolgensma. So seek immediate medical attention or contact your doctor if you experience unexpected bleeding, bruising, seizures, and decrease in urine output. Small amounts of Zolgensma may be found in the patient's stool, so it's important to observe hygiene, especially if you are coming into direct contact with bodily waste for 1 month after infusion with Zolgensma. Paying for this drug is not easy, as insurers may not cover it. But to encourage insurers, the manufacturing company has allowed some insurers to pay in annual installment of about $425,000 for a period of 5 years. That is it for now, and stay tuned for the next most expensive drug in this world.